What's up, YouTube? We're gonna talk a little bit about Diablo 3 monks, since obviously I'm a Kono monk. I play monk on WoW. Might as well play it on Diablo 3. Why the hell not? But I'm gonna show you my gear, my spec, and my skills and stuff like that that I use, so that you can go out there with crappy gear. That's like my biggest thing is crappy gear, because everybody doesn't have the time and everything to have this crazy good gear and like, hey, we can farm the hell out of stuff. No, 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 no. This is all crappy gear, stuff that I just got off the auction house for real pretty cheap and that I found in the world. So I'll show it to you and all that stuff. But let me go into the skills here, let you know what I'm working with here. I use Fist of Thunder for my primary. It's my biggest thing. I ruined it for Thunderclap, which will teleport. The first initial hit will teleport me to the actual target, so if they're runners, I can catch up with them really quick. I use the Mantra of Healing. My rune is Boon of Inspiration, which gives you life on hit. I'll show you how much it will give you with scaling with gear and all that stuff, so I'll just show you whenever I get into my gear stats and stuff like that. But this also puts a shield on you where it absorbs at least 930 damage, which I'm thinking it's a little more than that. It's just doesn't really spec up real good sometimes on this stuff. It has like a glitch or something for some reason. Breath of Heaven heals you for initial burst. It could be between 6 to 12, quote unquote, because it only shows 6 to 7,000. But I've had it crit me and heal me for 12k sometimes, so I don't believe a damn thing this is. But I ruined it for Blazing Wrath. It does give you a 15% for 45 seconds, which is a big increase for damage. Big. Blinding Flash disorientates the targets within 20 yards for 3 seconds. Now that is awesome, because there be some times where you're going to get caught up in some rares that you just cannot handle sometimes, that you just need, since you're melee, you got to jump in there and say F it. You jump in there, start attacking when your life gets mid bubble, pop that crap, you'll go right back up. It's pretty cool. I use that a lot in this thing. But when I ruined it for Faith in the Light, which gives me a 30% increase in damage, huge. I can burn through stuff so quick when I pop that, but it only has 3 seconds. It's not this big thing, but it helps out a lot. Now Serenity is my favorite. It's like in WoW, it's a freaking trinket. It's like a bubble, like a fucking pally. It's a pally bubble on a monk. It's fucking amazing. It basically immunes you to all damage, snares, impairing effects, you name it. You use it for 3 seconds, it makes you clear and free. No damage, no nothing. But I also have it ruined for peaceful repose. So it heals you when you use it, so it actually comes in handy, especially if you're low life and you're about to hit that little death point. Boom, back up at least mid bubble, so it's a pretty good thing. And the biggest but the greatest in my spec is the Sweeping Wind. Basically you surround yourself in a vortex, stacks up to 3 times after you crit each time, and then after the 3rd stack you'll start spawning these little whirlwinds, which hence my spec is the Whirlwind monk spec. It's pretty neat, pretty awesome. I'll show you later on how it works and all that stuff, but this is freaking amazing. I use Seize the Initiative. That's what I use. Your armor is increased by 50% of your dexterity, so if you have a lot of dex, which you should have, you've pretty much got a lot of armor. One with everything, you can choose, like this is so OP for a monk on Diablo 3, because if you're like, hey, I want all resist to all elements. Some people sit there and farm for that perfect gear that has resist to all in high amount. This one, shit, you can get the crappiest gear you want stacked up with cold or, fire, lightning. Who gives a shit? Just fucking, I do cold. It's the easiest and the cheapest. So you put cold on there, and you put this sucker in, it puts all your resistance stacked up to your cold, so you don't even have to worry about gear with all that crazy stuff on it. It's awesome. Transcendence. H point spent of spirit heals you for 62 point life. This could be swapped out with a lot of stuff, but I use it personally. I mean, you can go in and do this one so you can keep that spirit going out, but right now I just use Transcendence. It does what it needs to do. I can't really say too much about it. It says what it does. That's about it. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you my gear now. I mean, you're gonna notice off the bat that I do have 2 legendaries, but those were just found ever since the Paragon came out, and your Nephilim buffs and all that stuff. It makes it a lot easier to find legendaries. It's really good. I mean, I just found this one a day ago, and as you can tell, it doesn't have all that resist, but it has good life and decent dex. But you know, it's decent. It's not bad. It was a big upgrade from what I had, because I had like a level 58 piece, which was crazy. And this one right here, I got off of my Demon Hunter. My Demon Hunter found this, and I'm going to show that in the next video. But I switched it over here to him because that each hit adds life. That's the biggest thing for this spec. Biggest, and crit chance. You need a lot of crit chance in order to summon those little tornadoes. Some of the gear is real decent. Some is just like complete trash. I mean, you can look at it. I mean, +4 life, which is the worst. Don't even get +4 life. I just got that because that was best piece I had. No crap. That's pretty much the best piece. This one has cold resist, as you can tell. I told you I was stacking cold. Attack speed, which is really beast for amount of damage going out for the heals. So got a lot of crit on this one, and a lot of dex, which I suggest getting a lot of dex on gear. Vitality, you'll need a decent amount. I wouldn't say a lot. Some gears can have none, but a lot of dex. But your other pieces need to have a good amount of vitality on it. See, like this piece has no vit on it at all, but it has what I need: attack speed and that crit chance. That's like the biggest thing. I mean, I didn't go real high on dex because this is cheap gear. This is not the greatest. I mean, hell, look at this piece. I mean, it's got freaking 118 vitality, 55 dex, and all resist. I mean, yeah, you could probably spend a good penny, probably about 150,000 gold, or maybe even higher on that piece. But I found this for like 1,000. Somebody's like, "Oh, this is a piece of crap. Nobody's gonna get it." I'm like, "Hell, I jumped on that thing in a heartbeat." I think I'll put this over here because I need that life, and I'll show you how much life I got after this. The feet. That's a level 58. I mean, that's not even crap. I mean, it's like 59, 60, 61, 62, and 63. 63 is the highest item level. I mean, obviously this is a piece of crap, but I use it for the high dex and the cold and resist. So it's cheap. It's cheap gear. It's not even really good. My main hand, I spent a good penny on this, and I spent probably about 500,000 gold to get this, just because it had 955 life and the dex on there per hit. So, and I need the crit damage, which the crit damage allows you to kill stuff quicker. Like if you crit, it crits for an insane amount sometimes. But that's why I got that one. And this one right here, also 957 life per hit, and the crit damage 50, and then I put a gem in there for 45. So that's I got 95% extra crit damage on that crap. I mean, I don't have a huge amount of money. That's actually shitty money. I mean, y'all can tell. Y'all know. I mean, I'm sitting at 22,000 damage. Armor's at 51% with 3,192. I'm sitting at pretty much 19 25. That's with my Scoundrel. My Scoundrel actually gives me 3% extra crit, so you take the 3 off, I'm sitting around like 1750, which is still good. It's not great, but I'm still trying to farm to get the gear and all that jazz. But my damage bonus not that high. I'm actually running pretty low on it because most of my gear does not have that. It's mostly coming from my freaking weapons. But like I said, this is crappy gear that you can just get anywhere. My resist is all 320 just because of that that skill right here. Freaking amazing. I just stacked one thing and it gives me all of them the same, so it makes it a lot easier to get the gear for a monk. So it's 51%. It's not high. Obviously not. My total life is 30,599. It's not real high. Like, you can always see some people sitting at like 50s, and you know, I'm like, I don't need that gear. I don't need that crap. So, and right here, this is my life on hit. Now it's 2,392. Now this is my gear alone. That's all it is. The life on hit. That's how much I have on my gear. Now if I use this, look how much it goes up to. 2578, which is a huge increase. It's not that 190, 168 that it said. It's a lot more than that. But it actually does. That's your biggest stat in this spec, because if you don't have life on hit, you're gonna die. You're not gonna be able to recoup. You're not gonna be able to get anywhere in this. And I suggest most freaking specs require this. Like, it's the #1, the requirement, big time. And Magic Find. This is all my Paragon stuff here. You know, 21%. I don't even worry about that. I get the Nephilim buff, I'll be up at around like 200. It's not even an issue. But when Paragon goes up, when you level it, it gets even higher. So that's a good plus right there. I mean, I think I was Paragon 4, and I got 3 legendaries to drop in one run. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. But I mean, this is the gear. This is how crappy stuff I got. You know, nothing immaculate, no big gems, no crazy fucking stats, you know, just the bare minimum. And this is what I'm going to show you. This is how I run my spec, and pretty much can just out dominate everything. So keep tuned and I'm going to show you. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to use this spec, you know, for your advantages and disadvantages you might have. Maybe, I don't know about all of them, but I think it's you can't have any. I mean, if you don't think properly on what spells to use at the right time, then yeah, you can have some disadvantages. I mean, what spec doesn't? That's every spec has a disadvantage. If you screw one thing up, yeah, you're gonna fuck up. That's just how it is. But I'm gonna show you before I even go into battle. I always have my mantra up: shields, life regen, fucking amazing. Alright, so we're gonna go in here. We're gonna pop Sweeping Wind, which you need to have that very first, because the amount of damage they're gonna do to you, that helps out when you pop this, because it hits them constantly, every second, constantly, and then it stacks up even more. The more damage you do, the better chance of keeping life. Alright, and if you get, I'll show you when we get into bad spots and stuff like that, I'll use my Blinding Flash to try to burn them down as quick as possible, and I'll use this to give me some buff, maybe some life. But if it goes into all shit fair, you know, oh my god, we're gonna fucking die, Serenity is where I'm going. Alright, I'll show you. Pop my Sweeping Wind. See that rare right there? It's a bad rare. I mean, they do a lot of damage. I popped my Blinding Flash, so I can burn down as much as I possibly can. My life's just chilling. Yeah, it's doing pretty good. Oh, pop my Serenity. Get out the way. Make sure the molten doesn't explode. Blinding flash again to burn them up. And as you see there, I didn't move quick enough. I was tunneling a little bit. I mean, see, even I die. I mean, there's no way you cannot die in this game. It's gonna happen. So don't get discouraged if you first try this and you just completely fucking die every single time. After a while, you're gonna get used to it. You're gonna have the crit you need and all that stuff. Just stick in there like I did, and I'm gonna show you what happens when you stick in there. I'm gonna let you watch some of all the bosses in the entire game downed with this spec, with the same gear, same everything. And I did it all in a day. Not even a day. Probably like 2 hours. I just knocked it all out and farmed pretty good stuff. I ain't gonna lie. But here, watch out. Watch it now.